partner together on this work. So it's not anything I'm doing or anything Myra's doing alone, but it's all of your leadership. And what I want to do briefly is just tell you what does that leadership look like, and then what are the things we're focused on. And I apologize if you can't see the slides from over there. So if you look at our respiratory care service line, it's really made up of 3 components. And the newest component is where I am living, which is the respiratory care service line. And so if you look at this, what we're really focused on is establishing a strategic direction, some policies and program standardization across Metro. And one way I like to explain it is we like to serve as the Metro level voice for all of you guys. And that means to hear what you have to say, but also to be the voice at other tables for this group of people when you need to be advocated for things that you want, things that you need. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what I think of our role as. It's strategy, but more than that, it is bringing a voice to this group and to the entire group across Metro. So then you have your respiratory therapy facility operations, of which the Central Division is one. And so the other Metro facilities would make up that. And then our partners on the medical group side would be the respiratory health medical group side. I'm blanking on the name exactly. The respiratory care service line. No, that's the top one.
Respiratory
health service line.
Yes,
But
that's
is it
Dr.
service
Howard.
line?
Yeah.
So that's where Dr. Howard and team and Amy work. And so we partner together as kind of this triumvirate working together to make sure you guys have what you need. So next slide, please. So we got all of our group together and have developed a plan and several different things that we're working on as a team. And what I've got here is just a quick snapshot of what those primary 6 things are. And I'm just going to review them quickly. So the first is a focus on scope of practice. And what our goal is to define the inpatient respiratory care scope of practice aimed at providing the greatest value to the patient. And so what we want to do is make sure that you are providing the greatest value to the patient, that you're respected as part of the care teams that you serve with. And that's the goal of a sub-team. So each of these 6 areas has a sub-team that includes our respiratory leadership, some supervisors, and some others to help define what that is. The next piece is standardization. So we're trying to improve the implementation and adoption of clinical standards and protocols across Metro, so that we're doing them the same way. That's one area where we partner very closely with the medical group and the respiratory health. Some examples of things we've worked on this year include the ventilator protocol, the BiPAP protocol, the COPD protocol, and then identifying what other protocols or standards we might need to work on next year. The third section is reports and tools, and this is where, and it's really clinical and business support. So we're trying to standardize and define and make sure you have access to all the information that you need to do your job. And we've got a team working on that. There's some examples of things we've done this year to provide access to Tableau information and some others that help you do your jobs better. Around recruitment and retention, so this is a big component, and we're working with HR and our partners there on this, but it's to establish a centralized recruitment and retention set of tactics for the respiratory therapy service line. So we're spending a lot of time on that. That's things that we are doing to help keep people here and to attract the right people to come work at CHS and within respiratory therapy. And what goes along with that is professional recognition and research. So we're trying to develop and execute a strategy to put CHS respiratory therapy on the regional and national stage. So we already do a lot of great things. How do we toot our own horn, so to speak, and get out there and talk about those things and let people know the good work that we're doing, which ultimately helps with recruitment and retention. So it attracts people here, and it's also just a great way to recognize the great work that does get done. And finally, staffing is an issue, not just in respiratory therapies. It's an issue across the board in lots of different areas for CHS. And so we've been working very closely again with HR on some tactics that we're calling more of a 5-year plan. So not anything that's going to immediately correct the situation, but if you think about this stuff longer term, what are the things that we are doing to make sure we have the appropriate staff that we need to care for our patients? So those are our 6 primary focus areas, and we meet monthly with the leadership team to review the work that's going on. Each one of these has a pretty detailed, separate list of tactics that we're working on. And we're pleased with what we've done so far this year. It's tough to say here's exactly what you have seen from the work that we do, but we think, over time you'll begin to see some of the improvements that we'll be able to bring to you. So that's my short update, just to kind of give you an idea of what we've done and what we're trying to bring to you as a service line. And I'm happy to try and answer any questions if you have any. So I'll pause. No questions. And a huge room of people. So if you do have questions at any time, my name is Bennett Thompson, and Myra Stearns works with me on the top piece of the respiratory service line. Feel free to send me an email anytime you want to do that. If you have an idea or a thought or a comment or a question or a suggestion that you think we might be able to help with from this standpoint, we're happy to do that. And of course, we work very closely with all of your leadership too, and so those are channels as well. We'll appreciate the opportunity to come talk to you and tell you a little bit about what we're doing, and we're trying to get around. I know a lot of you probably know Myra from working before, but I'm a new face, so trying to get around as much as I can to see people and interact with you and meet you. And now is a good time to do that in aggregate, but I also will try to get around and meet more of you just as you're doing your work. So with that, I will turn it